Jack taking a look at his hand. Again, Eldrazi-tron. A little more straightforward of a deck. Hunter starts things off here with a Verdant Catacombs, and we're over to Jack for his turn 1. Jack will begin things with a Power Plant and an Expedition map of his own. I don't know why I said of his own, because there's only one in play, so... Hunter will, at end of turn, sacrifice his Verdant Catacombs, goes and picks up an Overgrown Tomb into play tapped. No use right now for that mana. Again, there was a Fatal Push in hand, but that's no use when... Sorry, guys. When your opponent has no creatures in play. So Hunter here... Turn 2, he has a Mishra's Bauble. So he's like, I think he's green-black Delirium, not Devotion. We're going to change this to Delirium. There's that Mishra's Bauble. There's also an Eldrazi Temple. What is this deck I'm watching? Brutality, just to look at Jack's hand. No other modes being used, which is a little strange with the Delirium deck. You'd think you probably want more modes, but... this is going to look at Reality Smasher, Matter Reshaper, Walking Ballista, a Temple, something else. Took away Dismember. Hunter here is going to sacrifice the Bauble, and we're going to move to Jack's turn. Hunter will get to draw a card on his upkeep, thanks to the Bauble. Hunter picked up Inquisition of Kozilek, which... Okay. There's a mine for Jack, so we are going to have access to turn 3 Tron here. Thanks to that map. Inquisition comes down here. We're looking at, so Smasher, Second Mine, Temple, Walking Ballista, and Matter Reshaper. We have 2 choices. We're going to take them both. Hunter, not going to waste time and think about things. He'll just take away both. He falls down to 18 using the black mana off of Lawn of War Wastes. His hand is a second Lawn of War Wastes, a Fatal Push, and a card I didn't get a good look at. Jack, sure enough, end of turn, sacrifices that map, goes and finds Tower. So Tron in hand for Jack now. He picks up another Walking Ballista. It's a good draw. It's probably not a card Hunter really wants to have to face down too much. I mean, Ballista is nice, but when it gets bigger, it's a little scarier. So here comes that Smasher, though. Hunter going to fall to 13. Jack here looks like he might play Ballista for 1, decides not to. I think that's the safe bet. Hunter picks up a Thoughtseize. Wow, just all of the hand interaction and nothing to do with it. There's also an Emrakul in his hand. The Promised End. So that's interesting. That explains the Temple. So what do we have then? We have land, sorcery, artifact. So right now Emrakul costs 10 and we have 5 mana in play. Well, we're not very close. We'll take away the Ballista. Hunter's now at 11. Doesn't increase as Delirium count. He doesn't even have Delirium yet, for that matter. Oh, yeah? Alright, fair. This is an attack for 10, though. Hunter's at 1. Jack having some really good top decks here. Hunter's dead. He drew a Forest. So, we're going to go to a game 2. Jack here, Copter, and yeah, wow, what a deck, what a deck in that case. Don't even know what to say about that. So we're gonna go to a game 2 here. Hunter will have the play again. I don't quite know what he's gonna have access to, but. I'm trying to look up. Oh, here it is. Okay, let's see here. Let's have a look at this list. I'm looking at the list. We got a Hangerback Walker, Sakura Tribe Elder, Cedar. This can't be the list. He might have updated it. I mean, it could be. He could have just updated some things and Made it a little less budget friendly, I guess. There's no Grimflayer in his deck though. It is playing Smuggler's Copter though. You were correct about that. Maybe just green black Eldrazi the rock with some more rocks. I mean, it's possible. I have no idea to be honest, but I mean, this could also just be sprung from Hunter's mind. He doesn't. By no means does he necessarily follow decks others build. The last couple times that I've seen Hunter play, he's played a Demonic Pact deck, and he's played a Pillars of the Perunes deck, which, if you're not sure what that card does, it's a land that can only be used to play multicolored spells. But it taps for any color, so it's great. So yeah. There you go. I feel like... So to me, this just seems like a deck that's going to have a problem against Tron strategies, similar to other green-black decks. Now, if he had a start there, he unfortunately didn't have Inquisition in his opening hand. That would have been a huge help because he would have been able to take that map away before Jack got to actually play it, which essentially is what won the game for Jack, since he was able to complete Tron on turn 3. Hunter couldn't do anything about that. So this game, Hunter does in fact have that turn 1 Inquisition, Traverse, and another Temple. He's in a mulligan though. His hand was 5 lands, Traverse the Uvenwald, and Inquisition to Kozilek. So not the most interactive hand, and really it just doesn't do anything if he doesn't draw gas. So Hunter correctly, I imagine, taking a mulligan here. Jack looks to have kept his 7. I didn't get a look. I saw some white border lands, so I know he's got some Tron pieces in his hand, which is pretty common. So we're going to look at 6 here instead. That looks like a lot of lands again. Hunter has kept this hand. I think there's a Goyf in it, though, which is pretty good. So I guess Goyf lends itself pretty nicely to Delirium strategy, eh? It's not bad. No turn 1 interaction, however, for Hunter, so he will just pass the turn. His Scry, I believe, did go on top. Jack picks up a Relic, which I have to imagine is going to be great in this matchup. Yeah. Yeah. Also, correct, Cody. Yes, this is Captain Jack Sparrow playing on the left there. The rings were a dead giveaway. He does have a lot of them. He has taken some time off from sailing the seas to come play Magic here. There's a Lana War Waste. Hunter has in hand a copy of Thought-Knot Seer. We're going to Abrupt Decay your Relic. Oh, I like it. Doesn't even get a card out of it. Beautiful. So Hunter, he did take a point of damage for that. He's at 19 now. He would be trying. Yeah. Well, you know, plundering is something that Jack Sparrow does. So, all right. So here's a Thought-Knot Seer. We look at Thought-Knot Seer of Hunter's own, a Tarmogoyf, and I have no idea what that black card is. It's some full art promo, but I don't know which one it is. I've never seen it. He takes Goyf. I don't have a clue what that promo is. If my spotter is there, he can let me know, but... Nameless Inversion. Didn't know it had a full art promo. Now I do. So Nameless Inversion fulfilling the tribal requirement in Hunter's deck. Nameless Inversion gives a creature +3/-3. It is a tribal changeling spell. Or what is it? Tribal shapeshifter spell, technically. Changeling is the ability. Yeah, it's the keyword. Hunter just plays Verdant Catacombs, though, and says go. So not able to play his own Thought-Knot Seer just yet. Jack here has Chalice still in the deck. Don't really know what's going to do. I mean, I guess Chalice on 1 stops all of Hunter's hand interaction, but I don't think that's a really concern for him at this point. So Hunter takes the hit for 4, falls to 15. Jack plays a caller. Hunter says, your Chalice counters that, sir. So a bit of out of order sequencing there from Jack. It turns out that playing the 1 drop after you play the Chalice on 1, not the way to go about it. So there you go. Hunter, end of turn, will fetch up an Overgrown Tomb. He's looking for a 4th land. Jack, I believe, he has 3 cards in hand. Okay, so 3 cards in hand. He's got a little bit of... This is fine. Thought Not Zero would be a pretty good play this turn. Hunter did not find it. He found instead Fulminator Mage, though, so it's not a bad follow-up. It's not a bad consolation prize. This gets to block and blow up Temple or single Tron piece. Probably Temple. It's a little bit scarier than the single Tron piece. Jack is still a ways away from actually being able to start up this Tron, so 3 mana here I think is going to bring down a Matter Reshaper, which will just die to an Aimless Inversion if Hunter wishes it to do so. Sure enough, there is that Reshaper. Hunter going to just take the hit here, though, and fall to 10. Interesting, okay. He picks up a Verdant Catacombs, so he will, if he'd like, be able to play Thought Not Seer this turn, which he looks to be doing, so he's down to 9. He's going to get to have a look here at Jack's hand, see exactly what he has to worry about, if anything, really. And then if he'd like, he is able to, of course, trade off Thought Not Seers during a block, so they'll both get a card out of it. Again, I'm a little... I don't know, I guess he's not under too much pressure just yet. You don't want to go too low against Eldrazi, Tron. It can all of a sudden come out of nowhere. So there is a All Is Dust. There's also Endbringer. I'm really curious as to why Jack didn't go for Endbringer last turn. He has double Temple in 2 lands. Am I crazy? Okay, Matter Shaper attacking. Hunter, I have to imagine, going to block here. Jack picked up another copy of All Is Dust. All Is Dust, normally pretty good against green-black. However, Hunter's deck doesn't... No. Reshaper doesn't die. Reshaper still lives. Hunter blocked and sacrificed the Fulminator Mage before damage to blow up one of those temples. So, but again, yeah, All Is Dust not at its strongest here, with Hunter's main focus seeming to be Eldrazi between things like Emrakul, The Promised End, and Thought Not Seer. So the draw here, if I'm not mistaken, was a land. So Hunter now has 5 mana. What's in his graveyard? Creature, land, instant. So he's got 8 mana towards an Emrakul. Nice. I would like to see Emrakul come down, I will say that. I feel that it'll do some work here, as she usually does. Hunter thinking what he wants to do with his turn here. He does have the option for Nameless Inversion, of course. He's going to go with Collective Brutality. He's going to discard the Lawnmower Wastes. So going to choose 2 modes here. Let's see what modes he chooses. I imagine one of them is going to be look at your hand and take a card away, because he knows for sure he can get rid of the All Is Dust. He knows it has a hit no matter what he does. No matter what Jack drew. I think he's debating his second mode right now. It looks like he's going to go ahead and deal 2 damage to the Matter Reshaper first. A tower gets put into play. And the way that Brutality reads, it's pretty important here. So, yeah, I mean... They resolve in the order on the card. I guess they resolve in the wrong order there, technically, but that's fine. It wasn't really a big deal. So we have dueling Thought-Knot Seers now. Again, Hunter has in hand left at this point just a Nameless Inversion. Are we trading here? I feel like a trade is probably fine here. Yep, Hunter agrees. Both players will get to draw a card. I believe Hunter drew another land. Jack, however, drew another Thought-Knot Seer. So that's pretty good. Nameless Inversion, Inverted Catacombs. You only got one choice. It's Nameless Inversion, so away that goes. And that doesn't go to the graveyard, which is pretty important. Yeah, I know. It's pretty important there, so Hunter plays out that Verdant Catacombs. He's in a bit of trouble here. A Smasher would be game. Actually, Jack needs the mana before he can even do that. Oh, no, he doesn't. He has Temple still. He's fine. But there's an attack for 4. Hunter will fall to 5. His draw is a Mishra's Bauble. Sure, yeah. Mishra's Bauble gets sacrificed. He will look at his own library. Handy to do when you have a Verdant Catacombs in play or a fetch land. And it looks like Hunter just says, no, it's game over.